I think even yesterday when this deal was, agreed upon, it was sus from the beginning. Okay, because there was really no comms that had felt like we were getting anywhere near a deal. Then kind of all of a sudden out of nowhere, it's like, yeah, there's a deal, and it was like, wait, what? What's going on? It doesn't. What? How did this happen so fast? And like, why are we agreeing on this? Because it didn't feel like we were anywhere near any type of agreement whatsoever, right? So this is first. Iranian 10-point from April 6th are substantially different from 10 points they say Trump has accepted and Trump says he'll negotiate on. Highlighted. Military block, bolded. Economic block, italic. Sanctions, block. They gave up on the toll booth and demanded reparations instead. And so it felt reasonable that the U.S. would stop attacking in exchange for Iran to open the strait. The toll thing did not sound super reasonable for the U.S. to accept. Israel stopping is its own can of worms. And then giving up their uranium and nuclear build out did not seem like something they would be willing to accept. But Trump was sort of like, no, we have a deal, 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 we have a deal. And it's like, okay, we'll see. So this came out sus. This was the official statement where Trump is basically saying, we've agreed to the 10-point proposal. And it's like, all right, have we? Market f***s. Then right away, Trump comes out doing some and he's like, a country supplying military weapons to Iran will immediately be tariffed on any and all goods sold to the United States of America, 50% effective immediately. There will be no exclusions or exemptions. Like, bro, it'd been like 15 minutes and he's talking about a tariff on Iran already. It's like, bro, we just like got out of this. What are we doing? I mean, this was like instantaneous. He loves a tariff, man. It's like, I don't get it. Art of the deal, I guess. What do I know? And so, yeah, so there was this. Was another one that was a little bit suspect, which like the United States will work closely with Iran, which we have determined has gone through what will be a very productive regime change. There will be no enrichment of uranium, and the United States will, working with Iran, dig up and remove all of the deeply buried B-2 bombers' nuclear dust. It's like, okay, you want this or they want this? It is now and has been under very exacting satellite surveillance. Nothing has been touched from the date of attack. We are, and we will be, talking tariff and sanctions relief with Iran. Many of the 15 points have already been agreed to. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And so it's very clear, like, we haven't reached a full agreement. Maybe we will, and maybe we can, but we haven't up until this point. And so this came out, followed by, there'll be lots of positive action, money will be made. Iran can start the reconstruction process. We'll be loading up with supplies of all kinds and just hanging around in order to make sure that everything goes well. Iran can start the reconstruction process. Iran can start the reconstruction process. They kept saying. And so, Citrini victory lap, Iran screaming there's going to be fees. And that is basically like where we left off yesterday. And I went to bed feeling optimistic, but I don't know. We'll see. But long. Optimistic, but long. Okay? And so you wake up today and you just get hit with fucking fuckery after fuckery after fuckery after fuckery after fuckery after fuckery after fuckery. So I'll do my best to piece it together in order. If you have missed it or don't spend your entire second of your life following it. Number one is this was at like 6 a.m. I wake up, see this. Strikes on an Iranian oil refinery in Lavon Island today. I believe this was from Israel. Iran is now retaliating with strikes on targets in Kuwait, Bahrain, and the UAE. Boom. It's like, okay, are we ceasefired or are we at war? So this comes out this morning, right? Market is gapping up. And this looks like this. Thanks, people. I mean, these are oil. We're bombing oil refineries. Today, after a ceasefire, after the market is pissing green, we're bombing oil refineries. It's like, what are we talking about? How do we know these videos are real and from today? We do because there is no community note. It's the best of our ability. So that was number one. Number two is Saudi Arabia's east-west oil pipeline was hit by a drone attack. Comes out a couple hours later. Saudi Arabia's vital east-west oil pipeline carrying crude from the Gulf to the Red Sea has been attacked. The People said a pumping station, one of several along the 1,200-kilometer pipeline that has become an economic lifeline for the kingdom since the near closure of shipping through the Strait of Hormuz was hit about 1 p.m. local time on Wednesday. That's escalation. Then there's this massive, same time basically, which is Massive Israeli strikes hit several cities across Lebanon, including Beirut's southern suburbs in Sudan. Look at this. I mean, look at this shit. This is this morning after we're at ceasefire. Israel just like slamming Lebanon. Look at these. I mean, look at this. Does this look like ceasefire to you? Look at this shit. And so these announcements are starting to trickle out during market open and right before. And I'm sitting here like, what are we doing? But it very much feels like, yeah, no ceasefire, right? Like, what's going on? This doesn't feel like it's over. But the market, I mean, the market doesn't care. The market doesn't give a fuck. The market is like so horny to go up, it doesn't care. That comes out. Then we get this, which is White House press secretary tells me Lebanon is not part of the ceasefire agreement with Iran. And so that comes out, followed by Speaker of the Iran Parliament. So this was the big one. This was like the killer. This was the nail in the coffin to me, which is Speaker of Iran Parliament post on X. 3 of the 10 points in workable basis to negotiate have been violated. In such situations, ceasefire or negotiations is unreasonable. And so this comes out at 2:18 EST. Look at SPY. This comes out at 2:18. 3 of the 10 terms for ceasefire have been violated. They're not possible, and there's no negotiations. And look at how we close. Doesn't give a fuck. Market does not care. And so let's do a scroll of TradFi news since that post, because there's been a lot. So this is the statement. Statement on the violation of 3 key clauses of the 10-point proposal. Agreed framework before the start of negotiations. The deep historical distrust we hold towards the United States stems from its repeated violations of all forms of commitments, a pattern that has regrettably been repeated once again, as expected. As the President of the United States has clearly stated in his truth, the Islamic Republic of Iran's 10-point proposal is a workable basis on which to negotiate, and the main framework for these talks. However, 3 clauses of this proposal have been violated so far. It's been like 12 hours. Brother, it's been 12 hours, and we violated 3. It's been 12 hours. 1, non-compliance with the first clause of the 10-point proposal regarding the ceasefire in Lebanon. Okay, we just saw what they did to Lebanon. This is what they did to Lebanon. That was part of it. Secretary says Lebanon is not part of it. Iran says Lebanon is part of it. Non-compliance with the first clause of the 10-point proposal regarding the ceasefire in Lebanon. A commitment that the Prime Minister has also explicitly referred to and declared as an immediate ceasefire everywhere, including Lebanon and other regions, effective immediately. And so what I don't understand is, like, did they just break the ceasefire? Did they not agree to this? Like, how is this point number 1 is you can't bomb Lebanon, and Lebanon has got hit the hardest it's been hit the entire war? How does that work? Like, who is that? Who's responsible for that, and why? And how does that happen? So that's number 1. Number 2 is the entry of an intruding drone into Iran airspace, which was delayed in the city of Lar in Fars province in clear violation of the clause prohibiting any further violation of Iranian airspace. I also believe that there's been more, since this has come out, there's been more drones shot down in Iran. And then 3, denial of Iran's right to enrichment, which was included in the 6th clause of the framework. That is like the biggest clause. Now, the very, quote, workable basis on which to negotiate has been openly and clearly violated even before negotiations began. In such situation, the bilateral ceasefire or negotiations is unreasonable. And so not only did 3 clauses for this so-called ceasefire get violated in like hour 1, but the way this is being framed from Iran is that there was never actually an official ceasefire. It was negotiations for the first time of a ceasefire. Like, did anyone even agree to it? Or did Trump just come out and say there's a ceasefire without any official communications, and the market said, fuck it, that's good enough for me? Because that's what it feels like happens to me. That's what happened. Honestly, That's what it feels like happened. Feels like Trump woke up and said, all right, I've had enough. There's a ceasefire with Iran. And in reality, they just got a proposal. This is what I think happened, okay? I think for the first time, Iran was like, okay, we're willing to give you a proposal for a ceasefire. Trump got the proposal, and he said, fuck it, ceasefire, we're good. He didn't agree to any of the points. Iran didn't agree to the ceasefire. There was no agreement. There's no official comms. He just said ceasefire. The market fucking rips, and then they still do it anyways. And then Iran's like, what the fuck? Not only did we not have a ceasefire, but even if we did, you violated 30% of the agreement in hour 12. What the fuck? And then JD Vance is like, all right, my turn. Get me on the mic. And so they put Vance on the mic as if Trump wasn't enough. Vance says, no, fuck it. It's my Vance just like texted Trump a fucking, here it is. Texted Trump an Apple Music link with Lil Baby, my turn now, and said, fuck it. Let's get it. And so they put Vance on the mic. Yeah, Jeremy Lin waving off Kobe. I'm doing too much now. This is what Vance
doubled
did,
in the
bro.
corner.
Get the fuck out the way,
will
Kobe.
direct traffic.
Fuck out the way.
Travel right there on Boozer.
All right, I'm doing too much. But this is what happened. He said, get the fuck out the way. It's my turn. And so he waves off Trump, gets on the mic, and the first thing he says is, quote, Iranians thought ceasefire included Lebanon and it just didn't. What? What do you mean they thought? What does that mean exactly? Like, at least when I do business, I don't know how y'all do business. When I do business, and there's a contract, both parties have the same contract. Like, if there's 10 points, I like know what's on the same 10 points, and like so do you. There should not be, I don't know whose fault it is. I'm not necessarily blaming Vance, but there should not be a disagreement on whether or not we can bomb Lebanon. Like, it shouldn't be like a, oh fuck, silly me, like I forgot kind of thing. It's like, no. And so that's the first thing he says. Second thing is that Israelis have offered to check themselves in Lebanon. It's like, okay, does that mean stop? What does that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean they've like checked themselves as in like, yo, check yourself, like stop? So this is I'll just give you my like Zoomer translation of that. That means to me, what happened is Lebanon was in the ceasefire. Israel said fuck it and bombed him anyways. Iran freaked out. Vance called Israel and said, guys, what the fuck are you doing? What the I mean, I would literally be a fly on the wall in that conflict. He picked up the phone, he called Israel, and he said, what the fuck was that? And Israel's like, what do you mean? And he's like, what the, like, are you, you're done. You're done. And so he comes back and says, all right, look. We thought it didn't include Lebanon, but Israel's down to like chill out. After that last like sucker jab. And then there have been talks between Israel and US today, which means there wasn't before they did this. And then Israelis are trying to set us up for success in negotiations on Iran. And then he comes out and says, I wonder how good the prime minister of Iran is at understanding English, is the next thing that he says after that. I mean, look, these quotes are out of context always, right? So it's not the PM of Iran. Sorry. He's like the speaker, right? What is his official role? Parliament speaker. Sorry. Parliament. You know what I meant. So he wonders how good he is at understanding English. Followed by, and this is my favorite one, which is no ceasefire ever goes without a little bit of choppiness. We want to stop the bombing, but it'll take time. Lebanon is a reasonable misunderstanding. I mean, this is like a pretty big misunderstanding to me. For either side, I don't know. That is like a big, I don't know. That's a big misunderstanding. And so, again, it seems to me that there was never a ceasefire, bro. This is like the obvious takeaway, in my opinion, is there was just not a ceasefire. Like, it wasn't this great grave fuck up of the US and Iran. It was like, no, there wasn't a ceasefire. This is what happened. This is what I honestly think happened. Trump got a letter in the mail that said, here are 10 points in which we can negotiate on. He said, yeah, whatever. Good enough. I don't even want to read it. Announced a ceasefire. Didn't even read the points. Broke 4 of them in the first 12 hours. 3 of them in the first 12 hours. Israel being one of them. They didn't even speak to Israel. Israel just went after Lebanon. Iran said, what the fuck are you guys doing? What the fuck? Iran comes out and says, not only is there no ceasefire, but we're done negotiating. And then JD Vance, Trump is like, I can't do it this time. You got to do it, Vance. I can't do it. I actually think that happened. Trump was like, bro, I can't do it this time. You got to go. This is you. And so Vance comes on the mic and he's like, yeah, it was just like a big misunderstanding. Ceasefires take time and we want to stop bombing, but we can't. And so I think there was never a ceasefire, but I do believe Trump desperately wants out right now. I think he does. I think the commentary here feels like Trump desperately wants out. But there's like 2 points we just cannot agree upon, which is the enrichment of the uranium, nuclear weapons, and the uncontrolled toll, which is why the whole thing made no sense, because it's like, what did we agree to? They can have the toll? They can have the uranium? This is why it never made sense yesterday. It didn't make any sense. And so Trump wants the fuck out, but they're not giving him what he wants. And so, like, that's why I think yesterday a lot of people came out and were like, damn, Trump's old man still got it. Because there was like no conceivable way he got out of Iran with the deal that the U.S. wanted. There's no, how did he pull it off? It was honestly like a top 5 aura moment for the U.S. But that was until we found out he didn't get the job. Like it's not done. How it ends, I don't really know, but it's not done. I don't know how to tell you this, brother. There's no ceasefire. Okay. Yeah. How does this end? Well, let's talk about it. Last couple comments. Trump administration may punish some NATO countries for lack of support on Iran. Does that feel like we've successfully finished off in Iran? It does not to me. Proposals involve moving U.S. troops from countries deemed unhelpful on Iran, and then troops would move to countries more supportive of U.S. campaign against Iran. It's like we're just backing up. Followed by, plan is one of several White House willing to punish NATO. Trump options stop short of withdrawing from NATO. Hassett. Oil spike will likely be a one-time thing on CPI report. I just can't believe we're back here. That is basically the extent of where we are at on updates. It's brutal. And then here's the last thing I'm going to read on this. To reiterate, and the reason the ceasefire news was so bizarre is these are the 10 points. Okay? Number 1, guaranteed non-aggression against Iran. Feels realistic. We could get there. We are unwilling, but we can get there, I think. Number 2, continued Iranian control over the Strait of Hormuz. That feels like a non-negotiable, but that feels like a non-negotiable for both parties. 3, accepting Iranian uranium enrichment, nuclear weapons. That feels like an absolutely no fucking way would the United States of America agree to that. That's the reason we got to war in the first place, as far as I understand. 4, lifting all primary and secondary sanctions. That feels realistic. We could do that, I think. Ending all UN Security Council and IAEA Board of Governors resolutions. I don't even know what this means, but feels realistic. Paying war reparations to Iran. Feels unlikely, but how bad do they want it? I don't know. Withdrawing all U.S. combat forces from the region. Halting the war on all resistance fronts, including the heroic Islamic resistance of Lebanon. Controlled Hormuz passage coordinated with Iran's armed forces. I mean, this is like unreal. This thing is 13 points. The necessity to end war. Full withdrawal of U.S. combat forces from all bases. The establishment of a Strait of Hormuz safe passage protocol guaranteeing Iran's control according to the agreed protocol. Full compensation to Iran according of assessment of war damage. Lifting all primary and secondary sanctions and resolutions of the IAEA Board of Governors and Security Council. Release of all blocked Iranian assets abroad. Finally, all terms above codified in a binding Security Council resolution, which the document says would turn the agreements into a binding international law and an important diplomatic victory for the Iranian nation. Okay? And these were allegedly the ceasefire agreement upon which the United States of America agreed to, which is like, no way. No way. Like, absolutely no way. There's absolutely no way. And so I think this is why the whole thing was sus from the get-go. And now we're basically back to, we're back to like square one. Where are we? I don't know. Where are we? We're back to square one. There's no ceasefire. We just like pump faked one. They're fucking pissed. Israel blew up Lebanon. The only thing that has changed for the better for the United States of America in the last 2 months of war is the S&P is up 1.5%. That's it. That's it. I mean, you could have woken me up today on the tweet deleted from Chris Wright, the head of energy for the United States of America, that said the ship got through that was instantly deleted, and we could be there. We could be there. We could genuinely be there. That's where we could be right now. We could genuinely be there. And so, I don't know. I'm pretty sick of Trump speeches, but this next one, whenever it is probably going to be electric.